Так, интересно, насколько меня слышно. Окей. Сегодня умер великий писатель Кормак МакКарти. И в честь него я подумал почитать немножко из его знаменитой пьесы, которая называется Sunset Limited, Ограниченный, закат, или как его еще называют, поезд, ограниченный закат, исходя из содержания. Вот не знаю, сколько я его почитаю, но я подумал, что стоит отметить память этого великого человека, этого автора, и прочитать, естественно, на языке оригинала. Вот, это не учебный ролик, это не учебная трансляция, это скорее трансляция памяти. Пожалуй, приступлю к чтению. The Sunset Limited by Кормака МакКарти. Sorry for my English. I'm not perfect in it. This is a room in a tenement building in a black ghetto in New York City. There is a kitchen with a stove and a large refrigerator, a door to the outer hallway, and another, presumably, to bedroom. The hallway door is fitted with a bizarre collection of locks and bars. There is a cheap formic table in the room and two chrome and plastic chairs. There is a drawer in the table. On the table is a Bible and a newspaper, a pair of glasses, a pad and pencil. A large black man is sitting on one chair, stage right, and in the other, a middle-aged white man dressed in running pants and athletic shoes. He wears a t-shirt and a jacket, which matches the pants. Bangs on the chair behind him. Вот, сразу вспоминается сцена в фильме, единственная сцена, собственно, в фильме с Томми Ли Джонсом и Сэмюэлом Джексоном. Вот, и как-то интуитивно хочется войти в их роли, но я все-таки хочу почитать именно как книгу, именно как текст, а не как кино, не как сценарий. Вот, я не буду каждый раз читать black and white, хотя это важно. Вот. Попробую, наверное, как-то поменять интонацию. Я буду прерывать иногда трансляцию для того, чтобы о чем-нибудь подумать. Вот, не уверен, что я прочитаю всю книжку. Да, кстати, книжку эту я отсканировал еще, когда жил в Германии. Нашел первым делом, поскольку это одна из моих любимых вещей. So, what am I supposed to do with you, professor? Why are you supposed to do anything? I done told you, this ain't none of my doing. I left out of here this morning to go to work. It wasn't no part of my plans at all. But here you is. It doesn't mean anything. Everything that happens doesn't mean something else. It don't? No, it doesn't. What's it mean then? It doesn't mean anything. You run into people and maybe some of them are in trouble or whatever, but it doesn't mean that you're responsible for them. Anyway, people who are always looking out for perfect strangers are very often people who won't look out for the ones they're supposed to look out for, in my opinion. If you're just doing what you're supposed to do, then you don't get to be a hero. And that would be me. I don't know, would it? Well, I can see how there might be some truth in that. But in this particular case, I might say I sure didn't know what sort of person I was supposed to be on the lookout for, or what I was supposed to do when I found him. In this particular case, there wasn't but one thing to go by. And that was that there he is standing there, and I can look at him and I can say, well, he don't look like my brother, but there he is. Maybe I better look again. And that's what you did. Well, you was kindly hard to ignore. I got to say that your approach was pretty direct. I didn't approach you. I didn't even see you. Him. I should go. I'm beginning to get on your nerves. No, you ain't. Don't pay no attention to me. You seem like a sweet man, Professor. I reckon what I don't understand is how come you to get yourself in such a fix. Yeah. Are you okay? Did you sleep last night? No. When did you decide that today was the day? Was there something special about it? No. Well, today is my birthday, but I certainly don't regard that as special. Well, happy birthday, Professor. Thank you. So, you seen a birthday was coming up, and that seemed like the right day. Who knows? Maybe birthdays are dangerous like Christmas. Ornaments hanging from the trees, wreaths from the doors, and bodies from the steam pipes all over America. Don't say much for Christmas, does it? Christmas is not what it used to be. I believe that to be a true statement. I surely do. I've got to go. И дальше ремарка авторская. He gets up and takes his jacket off the back of the chair and lifts it over his shoulders, and then puts his arms in the sheaths rather than putting his arms in first, one at a time. You always put your coat on like that. What's wrong with the way I put my coat on? I didn't say there was nothing wrong with it. I just wondered if that was your regular method. I don't have a regular method. I just put it on. It's what? Effeminate? What? Nothing. I'm just sitting here studying the ways of professors. Yeah, well, I've got to go. The black gets up. Well, let me get my coat. Your coat? Yeah. Where are you going? Going with you. What do you mean? Going with me where? Going with you. Where are you going? No, you're not. Yeah, I am. I'm going home. All right? All right? You're not going home with me? Sure I am. Let me get my coat. You can't go home with me. Why not? You can't. What? You can go with me, but I can go home with you? Блин, это все-таки гениально. Нет, я не знаю, да. Sorry for my pronunciation. Вот, my English is not perfect at all. Вот. Но просто я когда читаю, иногда я задумываюсь, и it's brilliant. It's really brilliant. His language is perfect, and I must say, I adore it. Just listen it. You can go home with me, but I can't go home with you. Это отдельная фраза, она настолько прекрасна. Вот, просто немножко насладиться хочется этой фразой. Okay. No, I mean no. That's not it. I just need to go home. You live in an apartment? Yes. What? They don't let black folks in there? Вот это как бы даже очень актуальная тема, да, Black Lives Matter. Еще до вот всей этой ситуации. Ладно. No, I mean, of course they do. Look, no more jerks. I've got to go. I'm very tired. Well, I just hope we don't run into the hustle about you getting me in there. You serious? Oh, I think you know I'm serious. You can't be serious. I'm as serious as a heart attack. Why are you doing this? Me? I ain't got no choice in the matter. Of course you have a choice. No, I ain't. Вот действительно, имеет он выбор... Ладно, я прерываюсь. Действительно, имеет он выбор или нет в такой ситуации? Ну, вы знаете, да, для тех, кто не знает, объясняю. Человек, который тут назван White, он собирался сброситься под поезд, а человек Black его остановил, не дал ему сброситься и привел его к себе домой. И теперь White собирается уходить, а Black, соответственно, собирается идти с ним, потому что у него некоторая моральная ответственность за этого White. Of course you have a choice. No, I ain't. Who appointed you my guardian angel? Let me get my coat. Answer the question. You know who appointed me. I didn't ask for you to leap into my arms down in the subway this morning. I didn't leap into your arms. You didn't. No, I didn't. Well, how did you get there then? The professor stands with his head lowered. He looks at the chair and then turns and goes and sits down in it. What? Now we ain't going. Do you really think that Jesus is in this room? Неожиданный вопрос. No, I don't think he is in this room. You don't. I know he is in this room. The professor folds his hands at the table and lowers his head. The Black pulls out the other chairs and sits again. It's the way you put it, Professor. Be like me asking you, do you think you got your coat on? You see what I'm saying? It's not the same thing. It's a matter of agreement. If you and I say that I have my coat on and Cecil says that I'm naked and I have green skin and a tail, then we might want to think about where we should put Cecil. I really don't know if I correct in pronunciation Cecil, so that he won't hurt himself. Who is Cecil? He's not anybody. He's just a hypothetical. There is not any Cecil. He's just a person I made up to illustrate a point. Made up. Yes. Это тоже очень смешно. Как бы две абсолютные структуры мышления. Ницше бы посмеялся, ладно. We're not going to get into this again, are we? It's not the same thing, the fact that I made Cecil up. But you did make him up. Yes. And his view of things don't count. No, that's why I made him up. I could have changed it around. I could have made you the one that didn't think I was wearing a coat and was green and all that shit you said. Yes, but you didn't. No. You loaded off on Cecil. Yes. Повесился на Сисила. Блин, я не могу, ну это очень смешно. Вообще, на самом деле, конечно, тяжело это читать. Блин, я, кстати, не знаю, на самом деле, сколько и кто меня смотрит. Блин, надо как-то это посмотреть. А как я могу это посмотреть? А никак, наверное, не могу это посмотреть. Потому что она закрытая, наверное, или нет? Блин, а как это увидеть? А нет, кто-то смотрит. Ну может я сам себя смотрю. Когда первый или второй раз я провожу трансляции. Ну-ка, я могу что-то себе написать, интересно. Так, ради эксперимента. Да, могу. Хорошо. Ну, вроде все видно, классно. Можешь мне дать ссылку на трансляцию, если она открытая. то все должно получиться. Сейчас проверим. Да, небольшое такое заминочка. Я просто подумал, что вдруг трансляция не идет. И как бы тогда какой смысл? Ну, сам собой в любом случае я почитал. И поэтому я решил проверить, насколько она работает. И вроде бы она работает. Вот теперь я проверяю, насколько быстро она идет. Ага. Ладно, продолжаем читать. Так, на чем остановились? Да. Взгляд бедный Сисил. Yes, but Cecil can defend himself because the fact that he ain't in agreement with everybody else makes his word no good. I mean, aside from the fact that you made him up and he's green and everything. He's not the one who's green. I am. Where is this going? I'm just trying to find out about Cecil. I don't think so. Can you see Jesus? Неожиданный вопрос. No, I can't see him. But you talk to him. I don't miss a day. And he talks to you. He has talks to me, yes. Do you hear him? Like out loud? Not out loud. I don't hear a voice. I don't hear my own, for that matter. But I have heard him. Здесь вспоминается фраза из Одена, по-моему. I never have seen God, but once or twice I believe I had heard him. Something like that. Well, why couldn't Jesus just be in your head? He is in my head. Well, I don't understand. What is it that you're trying to tell me? I know you don't, honey. Look, the first thing you got to understand is that I ain't got an original thought in my head. If it ain't got the lingering scent of divinity to it, then I ain't interested. The lingering scent of divinity. Yeah, you like that? It's not bad. Немножко поэтического привкуса. Так, что мы можем сделать? Мы можем сделать так. Да, пожалуй, что так. Хорошо, продолжаем. Продолжаем наше чтение. I heard it on the radio. Black preacher. But the point is I done tried it the other way. And I don't mean cheap it neither. Running blindfold through the woods with the between your teeth. Oh man, didn't I try it though? If you can find a soul that give it a better shot than me, I'd like to meet him. I surely would. And what do you reckon it got me? I don't know. What did it get you? Death in life. That's what it got me. Death in life. Yeah, walking around death. Too dead to even know enough to lay down. I see. I don't think so. But let me ask you this question. All right. Have you ever read this book? I've read parts of it. I've read it. Have you ever read it? I read the book of Job. Да, кстати, очень часто профессора философии, на удивление, даже не читали всей Библии. Хотя частично читали. Ну, книгу Иова ее читают, потому что ее преподают на философском вместе с экклезиастом. Да, суета-сует и погоня за ветром. Have you ever read it? No. But you read a lot of books? Yes. How many would you say you read? I have no idea. Ballpark. I don't know. 2 a week maybe. 100 a year. For close to 40 years. The black takes up his pencil and licks it and falls... Надо вот так вот как-то... Да. И так сразу чего что-то писать. So squinting at his pad, adding numbers laboriously, his tongue in the corner of his mouth. Как-то так. One hand on his head. Вот так-то. Примерно. 40 times 100 is 4000. Ну, кстати, не так много. Ну, в среднем мы в жизни читаем 4000 книг. Задумайтесь, кстати, какие книги вы читаете. Black almost laughing. I'm just messing with you, professor. Give me a number, any number you like, and I'll give you 40 times it back. 26, 1040, 118, 4720, 4720. Yeah, the answer is the question. Say what? That's your new number. 4720? Yes. That's a big number, professor. Yes, it is. Do you know the answer? No, I don't. It's 188,080. Тоже любопытная вещь. Очень часто некоторые люди умеют очень быстро считать, хотя не отличаются философским подходом к реальности. They sit. Let me have that. The black slides the pad and pencil across the table. The professor does the figures and looks at them and looks at the black. He slides the pencil and paper back across the table and sits back. Надо так вот написать, да. How do you do that? Numbers is the black man's friend. Butter and eggs, crab table. You quick with numbers. You can put the mojo on your brother. Confiscate the contents of his pocketbook. You get a lot of time to practice that shit in the jailhouse. I see. But let's get back to all them books you done read. You think maybe you read 4,000 books? Probably, maybe more than that. But you ain't read this one. No, not the whole book, no. Why that? I don't know. What would you say is the best book that ever was wrote? I have no idea. Take a shot. There are a lot of good books. Well, pick one. Maybe War and Peace. Ну, конечно, Лев Толстой. All right. You think that a better book than this one? I don't know. There are different kinds of books. This War and Peace book. That's a book that somebody made up, right? Well, yes. Отсюда, кстати, видно, что мистер Блэк не читал «Войну и мир», и тем мощнее противостояние, ну не противостояние, а контраст. Контраст, да. Well, yes. So, is that how it's different from this book? Not really. In my view, they're both made up. То есть и Библия, и «Война и мир» выдуманы. Ain't neither one of them true. Not in the historical sense, no. So what would be a true book? I suppose maybe a history book. Gibbon's Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire might be one. Да. At least the events would be actual events. They would be things that had happened. Ну, хотя, конечно, многие современные историки критически к Гиббону бы отнеслись. You think that book is as good a book as this book here? The Bible. The Bible. I don't know. Gibbon is a cornerstone. It's a major book. And a true book. Don't forget that. And a true book, yes. But is it as good as a book? As good a book? I don't know. I don't know as you can make a comparison. Comparison? You are talking about apples and pears. No, we ain't talking about no apples and pears, Professor. We're talking about books. Is that decline and fall book as good a book as this book here? Answer the question. I might have to say no. It's more true, but it ain't as good. If you like. It ain't what I like. It's what you said. All right. The black lays Bible back down on the table. It used to say here on the cover, for it got wore off, the greatest book ever written. You think that might be true? It might. You read good books. I try to read. You read good books. I try to, yes. But not the best book. Why is that? I need to go. You don't need to go, Professor. Stay here and visit with me. You're afraid I'll go back to the train station. You might. Just stay with me. What if I promised I wouldn't? Имеется в виду вернуться на станцию. You might anyways. Don't you have to go to work? I was on my way to work. A funny thing happened to you on your way to work. Yes, it did. Will they fire you? Nah, they ain't going to fire me. You could call them. Ain't got a phone. Anyways, they know if I ain't there, I ain't coming. I ain't a late sort of person. Why don't you have a phone? I don't need one. The junkies steal it anyways. You could get a cheap one. You can't get too cheap for junkie. But let's get back to you. Let's stick with you for a minute. All right. Can I ask you something? Sure you can. Where were you standing? I never saw you. You mean when you took your amazing leap? Yes. I was on the platform. On the platform. Yeah. Вообще один из таких приемов, благодаря которому задается динамика, это то, что мистер Уайт часто повторяет, repeat, фразы, которые говорит мистер Блэк. I was on the platform, yeah. Well, I didn't see you. I was just standing there on the platform, meaning minding my own business. And here you come. Holiness. I'd looked all around to make sure there was no one there, particularly no children. There was nobody around. Nope, just me. Well, I don't know where you could have been. Professor, you're fixing to get spooky on me now. Maybe I was behind a post or something. There wasn't any post. So what are we saying here? You looking at some big black angel got sent down here to grab your hunky ass out of the air at the last possible minute and save you from destruction? No, I don't think that. Such a thing ain't possible. No, it isn't. Какой скептик. Well, you the one suggested it. I didn't suggest any such thing. You the one put in the stuff about angels. I never said anything about angels. I don't believe in angels. What is it you believe in? A lot of things. All right. All right, what? All right, what things? I believe in things. Это как бы сильно. Я верю в вещи. Вот, то есть есть какие-то вещи, и в них верят. Отлично. You said that. Probably I don't believe in a lot of things that I used to believe in, but that doesn't mean I don't believe in anything. Well, give me a for instance. Mostly the value of things. Value of things, yes. Okay, what things? Lots of things. Cultural things, for instance. Books and music and art, things like that. All right. Those are the kinds of things that have value to me. They're the foundations of civilization, or they used to have value. I suppose they don't have so much anymore. Такой типичный человек цивилизации. What happened to them? Them, наверное. People stopped valuing them. I stopped valuing them to a certain extent. I'm not sure I could tell you why. Блин, вот это вот сильно просто. That world is largely gone. Soon it will be wholly gone. Просто бомба, просто бомба. То есть мир абсолютно исчезнувший будет скоро. I'm sure I'm following you, professor. Ну, конечно, Блэк не понимает его. Он живет в простой системе ценностей, у него нет вот этого всемирной тоски, туманной боли, ницшеанской. Вот. А у профессора есть, и он не видит смысла. There is nothing to follow. It's all right. The things that I loved were very frail, very fragile. I didn't know that. I thought they were indestructible. They weren't. Это вот просто обычно кажется, как у Платона, да, идеи, вечные идеи. Они существуют, они не меняются. И ты в них уверен. Такой оптимизм рациональный. Но потом приходит Ницше, и ты уже не уверен во всех этих вещах. Ты уже в них вовсе не уверен. And that's what sent you off the edge of the platform. It was nothing personal. It is personal. That's what an education does. It makes the world personal. Что делает образование? Да, именно так. What? Well, I was just thinking that them is some pretty powerful words. I don't know that I got an answer about any of that, and it might be that they ain't no answer. But still I got to ask what is the use of notions such as them if it won't keep you glued down to the platform when the Sunset Limited comes through at 80 miles an hour. Вот он, Sunset Limited. Название книги отсюда. Good question. I thought so. I don't have an answer to any of that either. Maybe it's not logical. I don't know. I don't care. I've been asked, didn't I think it odd that I should be present to witness the death of everything, and I do think it's odd, but that doesn't mean it's not so. Someone has to be here. But you don't intend to stick around for it. No, I don't. So let me see if I got this straight. You saying that all this culture stuff is all there ever was between you and the Sunset Limited. It's a lot. But it busted out on you, yes. You're a cultural junkie. Here who I am cultural junkie. Это правда. If you like, or I was, maybe you're right. Maybe I have no beliefs. I believe in the Sunset Limited. Damn, professor. Damn, indeed. No beliefs. The things I believed in don't exist anymore. Блин, кажется, после этого уже можно не читать, потому что уже не существуют те вещи, в которые я верил. Как можно так красиво писать? You are challenged, professor. Did you know that? Well, there is no reason for you to become involved in my problems. You should go. You got any friends? No. Это то, что меня ожидает в старости, походу, судя по всему. You ain't got even one friend. No. You gotta be kidding me, professor. Not one. Not really, no. Well, tell me about that one. What one? The not really one. I have a friend at the university, not a close friend. We have lunch from time to time. But that's about as good as it gets. What do you mean? That's about all you got in the way of friends. Yes. Well, If that's the best friend you got, that I reckon that's your best friend, ain't it? I don't know. What did you do to him? What did I do to him? Yeah, I didn't do anything to him. Блин, как же он это делает? Как-то так, наверное. I didn't do anything to him. That makes you think I did something to him. What makes you think I did something to him? I don't know. Did you? No. What is it you think I did to him? I don't know. I'm waiting on you to tell me. Well, there's nothing to tell. But you didn't leave him no note or nothing when you decided to take the train. To take the train, вот как это называется. No. Your best friend. He's not my best friend. I thought we just got done deciding that he was. You just got done deciding. You ever tell him you were thinking about this? No. Damn, professor. Why should I? I don't know. Maybe because he's your best friend. I told you we're not all that close. Not all that close. No. He's your best friend, only you ain't all that close, if you like. Not too weird when they want to bother him about a little thing like dying. Look, suppose I were to give you my words that I would just go home and that I wouldn't try to kill myself en route. Suppose I was to give you my word that I wouldn't listen to none of your bullshit. So what am I, a prisoner here? You know better than that. Anyway, you was a prisoner before you got here. Death row prisoner. What did your daddy do? What? I said, what did your daddy do? What kind of work? He was a lawyer. Lawyer, yes. What kind of law did he do? He was a government lawyer. He didn't do criminal law or things like that. What would be a thing like criminal law? I don't know. Divorce law, maybe? Yeah, maybe you got a point. What did he die of? Who said he was dead? Is he dead? Yes. What did he die of? Cancer. Cancer. So he was sick for a while. Yes, he was. Did you go see him? No. How come? I didn't want to. Well, how come you didn't want to? I don't know. I just didn't. Maybe I didn't want to remember him that way. Bullshit. Did he ask you to come? No. But your mama did. She may have, I don't remember. Come on, professor. She asked you to come. Okay, yes. And what did you tell her? I told her I would. But you didn't. No. How come? He died. Yeah, but that ain't it. You had time to go see him and you didn't do it, I suppose. You waited till he was dead. Okay. So I didn't go and see my father. Your dad is laying on his deathbed dying of cancer. Your mama sitting there with him, holding his hand. He in all kinds of pain. And they ask you to come see him one last time, for he dies and you tell him no, you ain't coming. Please tell me I got some part of this wrong. If that's the way you want to put it. Well, how would you put it? I don't know. That's the way it is, ain't it? I suppose. Бедный профессор, конечно. No, you don't suppose. Is it or ain't it? Yes. Well, let me see if I can find my train schedule. The schedule. Как правильно говорить? Schedule, наверное. He opens the table drawer and rummaged through it. See when the next Uptown Express is due. I'm not sure I see the humor. I'm glad to hear you say that, Professor, because I ain't sure either. I just get more amazed by the minute, that's all. How come you can't see yourself, honey? You're plain as glass. I can see the wheels turning there, the gears, and I can see the light too. Good light, true light. Can't you see it? No, I can't. Well, bless you, brother, bless you and keep you, 'cause it's there. They sit. Ну, что я могу сказать, конечно? Я могу вам сказать, что это достаточно сильно. Я прямо должен подумать. Налить чаю себе, что ли. Да, налю-ка себе чаю. Just a minute, wait a minute, please. Я думаю, вы никуда не уйдете все равно. So. Ну что, ребятки, продолжим наше чтение. When were you in the penitentiary? Long time ago. What were you in for? Murder? Really? Now who would claim to be a murderer that wasn't one? You called it in jailhouse, yeah. Do most blacks call the penitentiary the jailhouse? Nah, just us old country niggers. Не знаю, разрешено сейчас это слово или нет в ютубах. We kind of make it a point to call things what they is. I'd hate to guess how many names they is for the jailhouse. I'd hate to have to count them. Do you have a lot of jailhouse stories? Jailhouse stories. Yes. I don't know. I used to tell jailhouse stories some, but they kindly lost their charms. Maybe we ought to talk about something more cheerful. Have you ever been married? Married? Yes. Oh man, what? Maybe we ought to take another look at them jailhouse stories. He shakes his hand, laughing soundlessly. Надо как-то так. Ладно, это было жестко. Sorry. Oh my. Do you have any children? Nah, professor. I ain't got nobody. Everybody in my family is dead. I had 2 boys. They've been dead for years. Just about everybody I ever know is dead. Far as that goes. You might want to think about that. I might be hazard to your health. You were always in a lot of trouble. Yeah, I was. I liked it. Maybe I still do. I done 7 years hard time, and I was lucky not to have done a lot more. I hurt a lot of people. I'd smack them around a little, and then they wouldn't get up again. But you don't get in trouble now. No. But you still like it. Well, maybe I'm just condemned to it. But in the ass by my own karma. But I'm on the other side now. You want to help people that's in trouble, you pretty much got to go where the trouble is at. You ain't got a lot of choice. And you want to help people in trouble. Yeah, why that? The black tilts his head and studies him. You ain't ready for that. How about just a short answer? That is the short answer. How long have you been here? You mean in the building? Yes. 6 years. 7 almost. I don't understand why you live here. As compared to where? Everywhere. Anywhere. Well, I'd say this pretty much is anywhere. I could live in another building, I reckon. This is all right. I got a bedroom where I can get away. Got a sofa yonder where people can crash. Junkies and crackheads mostly. Of course they're going to carry off your portables, so I don't own nothing. And that's good. You hand out with the right crowd and you'll finally get cured of just about every craving. They took the refrigerator one time, but somebody caught 'em on the stairs with it and made 'em bring it back up. Now I got the big sucker yonder. Traded up. Only thing I miss in the music. Даже отпраздновал, так сказать. Only thing I miss is the music. I like music too. I am to get me a steel door for the bedroom, then I can have me some music again. You got to get the door and the frame together. I'm working on that. I don't care nothing about television, but I miss that music. Кстати, о музыке. Сейчас в Петербурге белая ночь. Сейчас 3 часа. За окном уже начинают петь птички. Для них уже утро. Для меня еще по факту вечер. You don't think this is a terrible place? Terrible, yes. What's terrible about it? It's horrible. It's horrible life. Horrible life? Yes. Damn, professor. That's any horrible life. What are you talking about? This place, it's a horrible place. Full of horrible people. Oh my. You must know these people are not worth saving. Хороший вопрос, да? Достойны ли вот все эти так называемые наркоманы и деклассированные элементы спасения? Even if they could be saved, which they can't, you must know that. Well, I always liked a challenge. I started a ministry in prison before I got out. Now that was a challenge. A lot of the brothers show up that they didn't really care nothing about it. They couldn't have cared less about the word of God. They just wanted it on their resume. Resume. You had brothers in there that had done some real bad shit, and they wasn't sorry about a damn thing except getting caught. Of course, the funny thing was a lot of them did believe in God, maybe even more than these folks here on the outside. I know I did. You might want to think about that, Professor. I think I better go. You don't need to go, Professor. Не отпускает его. What am I going to do? You leave me standing here by myself. You don't need me. You just don't want to feel responsible if anything happens to me. What's the difference? I don't know. I just need to go. Just stay a while. This place is got to be more cheerful than your own. I don't think you have any idea how strange it is for me to be here. I think I got some idea. I have to go. Let me ask you something. All right. You ever had one of them days when things was just sort of weird all the way around? When things just kindly fell into place? I'm not sure what you mean. Just one of them days, just kind of magic. One of them days when everything turns out right. I don't know, maybe why. I just wondered if maybe it ain't been kindly a long dry spell for you, until you finally took up with the notion that that's the way the world is. The way the world is, yeah. And how is that? I don't know. Long and dry. The point is that even if it might seem that way to you, you still got to understand that the sun don't shine up the same docks as every day. You understand what I'm saying? If what you are saying is that I'm simply having a bad day, that's ridiculous. I don't think you're having a bad day, Professor. I think you're having a bad life. True story просто. You think I should change my life? What? Are you shitting me? I have to go. You can hang with me here a little while longer. Вот как он не отпускает. What about my jailhouse story? You don't need to hear no jailhouse story. Why not? Well, you kind of suspicious about everything. You think I'm fixing to put you in the trick bag. And you're not. Oh no, I am. I just don't want you to know about it. Well, in any case, I need to go. You know you ain't ready to hit the street. I have to. I know you ain't got nothing you got to do. And how do you know that? Because you ain't even supposed to be here. I see your point. What if I was to tell you a jailhouse story? You stay then? Подкупает его самым главным. Тюремная история. Все-таки остатки любопытства у профессора, видимо, есть. All right. I'll stay for a while. My man. All right. Here's my jailhouse story. Is it a true story? Oh yes, true story. I don't know no other kind. All right. И история, собственно. Надо, конечно, рассказать с такой соответствующей интонацией рассказывают. В фильме это был один из таких довольно сильных моментов. All right, I'm in the chew line and I'm getting my chew, and this nigger in the line behind me gets into it with the server. Says the beans is cold and he throws the ladle down in the beans. And when he done that, there was beans splashed on me. Well, I wasn't going to get into it over some beans, but it did piss me off some. I just put on a clean suit, you know, khakis, shirt and trousers. And you only got 2 a week. And I did say something to him like, hey man, watch it, or something like that. But I went on and I'm thinking, just let it go. Let it go. And then this dude says something to me and I turned and looked back at him, and when I done that, he stuck a knife in me. I never even seen him eat, and the blood is just flying. And this ain't no jailhouse shiv neither. It's one of them Italian switchblades, one of them black and silver jobs. And I didn't do a thing in the world but duck and step under the rail, and I reached and got hold of the leg of this table, and it come off in my hand just as easy. And it's got this big long screw sticking out of the end of it, and I went to wailing on this nigger's head, and I didn't quit. I beat on it till you couldn't hardly tell it was a head, and that screw stick in his head, and I'd have to stand on him to pull it out again. What did he say? What did he say? I mean, in the line, what did he say? I'm going to repeat it. That doesn't seem fair. Don't seem fair. No. Well, here I'm telling you a bona fide blood and guts tale from the big house, the genuine article, and I can get you to fill in the blanks about what this nigger said. Do you have to use that word? Use that word, yes. We ain't making much progress here, is we. Грамматика у него, конечно, интересная. Is we. It just seems necessary. You don't want to hear nigger, but Кстати, тоже актуальная тема. But you about to bail out on me on account of I won't tell you some terrible shit the nigga said. You sure about this? I just don't see why you have to say that word. Вот она просыпается щепетильность профессора и пофигизм мистера Блэка. Well, it's my story, ain't it? Anyway, I don't remember there being no Afro-Americans or persons of color there. To the best of my recollection, it was just a bunch of niggers. Go ahead. Смирился. Well, at some point I had pulled the knife out and I reckon I done dropped it in the floor. I'm wailing on this nigger's head and all the time I'm doing that his body has got hold of me from behind. But I'm holding on the rail with one hand and I ain't going nowhere. Of course, what I don't know is that this other dude has picked up the knife and he's trying to gut me with it. I finally felt the blood and I turned around and busted him in the head and he went skittering off across the floor. And by now they done pushed the button and the alarm is going. And everybody's down on the floor and we're in lockdown and the guard up on the tire is got a shotgun pointed at me and he hollers at me to put down my weapon and get on the floor. And he's about to shot me when the lieutenant comes and the hollers at him to hold his fire and he tells me to throw that club down and I looked around and I'm the only one standing. I seen the nigger's feet sticking out from under the serving counter where he'd crawled, so I throw the things down and I don't remember much after that. They told me I'd lost about half my blood. I remember sleeping around in it, but I thought it was these other dudes. That's quite a story. Yeah, that's really just the introduction to the actual story. Did the man die? No, he didn't. Everybody lived. They thought he was dead, but he wasn't. He never was right after that, so I never had no more trouble out of him. He was missing an eye, and he walked around with his head sort of sideways and one arm hanging down. Couldn't talk right. They finally shipped him off to another facility. But that's not the whole story. No, it ain't. So what happened? I woke up in the infirmary. They had done operating on me. My spleen was cut open, liver, I don't know what all. I come pretty close to dying, and I had 280 stitches holding me together, and I was hurting. I didn't know you couldn't hurt that bad, and still they got me in leg irons and got me handcuffed to the bed. If you can believe that. And I'm laying there, and I hear the voice, just as clear. Couldn't have been no clearer. And this voice says, if it was not for the grace of God, you would not be here. Man, I tried to raise up and look around, but of course I couldn't move. Wasn't no need to anyways. There wasn't nobody there. I mean, there was somebody there, all right, but there wasn't no use in me looking around to see if I could see him. You don't think this is a strange kind of story? I do think it's a strange kind of story. What I mean is that you didn't feel sorry for this man. You're getting ahead of the story. The story of how a fellow prisoner became a crippled one-eyed halwit so that you could find God. Ха. Да, кстати, хороший вопрос. То есть для мистера Блэка, получается, вся эта история о покалеченном чуваке — это его путь к Богу. То есть путь через страдания. Но с другой стороны, сам он переживает это как озарение, как обращение к Богу. Как это можно понять? Как это можно понять? Well, isn't it? I don't know. You hadn't thought of it that way. Oh, I had thought of it that way. And what? Isn't that the real story? Well, I don't want to get on the wrong side of you. You seem to have a powerful wish for that to be the real story. So I will say that is certainly one way to look at it. I got to concede that. I got to keep you interested. Steer me along. That okay with you? And then put me in the what was it? The trick bag. Yeah. Right. You got to remember this is a jailhouse story. All right. Which you specifically asked for. All right. The point is, Professor, that I ain't got the first notion in the world about what makes God tick. I don't know why he spoke to me. I wouldn't have. But you listened. Well, what choice would you have? I don't know. Not listen? How are you going to do that? Just don't listen. Do you think he goes around talking to people that he knows ain't going to listen in the first place? You think he's got that kind of free time? I see your point. А с вами говорил интересный Господь. If he didn't know I was ready to listen, he wouldn't have said a word. He is an opportunist. Meaning, I guess, that he seen somebody in a place low enough to where he ought to be ready to take a pretty big step. Something like that. And you think that maybe I think that you might be in something like that kind of a place your own self. Could be. Well, I can dig that. I can dig it. Of course, there is one small problem. And that is, I ain't God. I'm glad to hear you say that. It comes as a relief to me too. Did you used to think you were God? No, I didn't. I didn't know what I was. But I thought I was in charge. I never knowed what that burden weighed till I put it down. That might have been the sweetest thing of all, to just hand over the keys. Let me ask you something. Ask it. Why can't people just accept it that some people don't even want to believe in God? I accept that. You do. Sure I do. Meaning that I believe it is to be a fact. I'm looking at it every day. I better accept it. Then why can't you leave us alone? To do your own thing. Yes. Hanging from them, steam pipes and all. If that's what we want to do, yes. Cause he said not to. He said. It's in here. И указывает на Библию. Профессор shakes his head. I guess you don't want to be happy. Блин, вот это опять момент такой. I guess you don't want to be happy. Почему-то все уверены, что всем нужно быть счастливыми. Но это не доказано. Happy? Yeah, what's wrong with happy? God help us. What? We don't open a can of worms here. What you got against being happy? It's contrary to the human condition. Well, it's contrary to your condition. I got to agree with that. Happy. This is ridiculous. Like there ain't no such a thing. No. Not for nobody. No. How do we get in such a fix as this? We were born in such a fix as this. Suffering and human destiny are the same thing. Each is a description of the other. We ain't talking about suffering, we're talking about being happy. Well, you can be happy if you are in pain. Why not? You're not making any sense of oh, them is some hard words from the professor. The preacher has fell. Надо так. Как-нибудь, да. Oh, them is some hard words from the professor. The preacher has fell back. He's clutching his heart. Eyes is rolled back in his head. Wait a minute, folks. His eyes is blinking. I think he's coming back. I think he's coming back. Да, и нужно так, опа, и воскреснуть. The point, professor, is that if you didn't have no pain in your life, then how would you even know you was happy? As compared to what? You don't have anything to drink around here, do you? Все, профессору захотелось уже выпить. No, professor, I ain't. You are a drinking man. Are we about to get a temperance lecture? Not from me. It's been a difficult day, I take it you don't drink. I don't. I have done my share of it in my time. Are you an AA? Я так полагаю, что это анонимные алкоголики. No AA, I just kid. I've had a lots of friends was drinkers, most of them, for that matter. Most of them dead too, from drinking. Well, from drinking or from reasons that don't get too far from drinking. Not too long ago I had a friend to get run down by a taxi cab. Now, where do you reckon he was going? Drunk? I don't know. Where was he going? Going after more whiskey. Had plenty at the house, but the drunk is always afraid of running out. Was he killed? I hope so. We buried him. I suppose there is a moral to this story. Well, it's just a story about what you want and what you get. Pain and happiness. I tell you another one. All right. One Sunday, there is a bunch of us sitting around at my house drinking. Sunday morning, Mr. Turning. Favorite time for drunks to get together and drink, and I'll let you think about why that might be so. Well, here come one of my buddies with this girl, Evelyn, and Evelyn was drunk when she got there, but we fixed her a drink and directly Reg, my buddy, he goes back in the kitchen to get him a drink, only now the bottle's gone. Well, Reg has been around a few drinking people in his time, so he commences to hunt for the bottle. Looks in all the cabinets and behind everything. He can find it, but of course he knows what's happened to it, so he comes back in and he sits down and he looks at Miss Evelyn sitting there on the sofa, drunk as a gore, and he says, "Evelyn, where is the whiskey?" And Evelyn, she goes, "Ha ha, ba ba ba, la la la, ha ha ha," and he says, "Evelyn, where did you put the whiskey?" "Ah ha ha, blah ha ha," and he's like, они смеются. And Reg is sitting there, and this is beginning to piss him off just a little, and he gets in her face and he goes, and she says, "I hid it in the toilet." That's pretty funny. I thought you might like that. And is that where the whiskey was? Oh yeah. That's favorite place for drunks to hide the bottle. But the point, of course, is that the drunk's concern ain't that he going to die from drinking, which he is that he's going to run out of whiskey before he gets a chance to do it. Are you hungry? I can come back to this. I ain't going to lose my place. I'm all right, go ahead. If you was to hand a drunk a drink and tell him he really don't want it, what do you reckon he'd say? I think I know what he'd say. Sure you do, but you'll still be right. About him not really wanting it. Yes, because what he really wants he can get, or he thinks he can get it. So what he really don't want to, he can't get enough of. So what is it that he really wants? You know what he really wants. No, I don't. Yeah, you don't. You do. No, I don't. What? You're a hard case, Professor. You're not exactly a day at the beach yourself. You don't know what he wants. No, I don't. He wants what everybody wants, and that is, he wants to be loved by God. Да, каждый из нас хочет быть любимым. I don't want to be loved by God. I love that. See how you cut right to it. He don't either. According to him, he just wants a drink of whiskey. You're a smart man, Professor. You tell me which one makes sense and which one don't. I don't want a drink of whiskey either. I thought you just got down asking for one. I mean it's a general proposition. We ain't talking about no general propositions. We're talking about a drink. Логично. I don't have a drinking problem. Well, you got some kind of problem. Well, whatever kind of problem I have, it's not something that I imagine can be addressed with a drink of liquor. Huh. I love the way you put that. So, what can it be addressed with? I think you know what it can be addressed with. The Sunset Limited, yes. And that's what you want. That's what I want, yes. That's a mighty big drink of whiskey, Professor. That I don't really want. That you don't really want, yes. Well, I think I do want it. Of course you do, honey. If you didn't, we wouldn't be sitting here. Right. Well, I disagree with you. That's all right, that's the hand I'm playing. I don't think you understand that people such as myself see a earning for God as something lacking in those people. I do understand that. Couldn't agree more. You agree with that? Sure I do. What's lacking is God. Well, as I say, we'll just have to disagree. You ain't closing down the forum for discussion, are you? Not at this juncture, 'cause I had a little more to say. How did I know that? I did go to 1 or 2 AA meetings. A lot of folks didn't like the God part of it all that much, but I hadn't sat there so too long for I figured out that the God part was really all the part there was. The problem wasn't that there was too much God in AA, it was that there wasn't enough. And I got a pretty thick head about some things, but I finally figured out that what was true about AA was probably true about a lot of other things too. Well, I'm sorry, but to me the whole idea of God is just a lot of crap. Oh Lord, have mercy. Oh, save us, Jesus. The professors done blasphemed all over us. We ain't never gonna be saved now. Как-то так. You don't find that an evil things to say. Oh mercy, no, professor, I don't, but you does. No, I don't. It's simply a fact. No, it ain't simply a fact. It's the biggest fact about you. It's just about the one fact. But you don't seem to think that it's so bad. Well, I know it's too bad curable, so it ain't that bad. If you're talking about what that man up there thinks about it, I figure he's probably seen enough of it that it don't bother him as bad as you might think. I mean, what if somebody told you that you didn't exist, and you sitting there listening to him say that? That wouldn't really piss you off, wouldn't it? No, you just feel sorry for them. Немножко похоже на платоновские диалоги. Типа там Сократ разговаривает. Кстати, что-то есть в этом такое сократическое. I think that's right. You might even try to get some help for them. Now, in my case, he had to holler at me out loud, and me laying on a slab in two pieces, the date sewed back together, where some nigger done try to core me like an apple, but still I got to say that if God is God, then he can speak to your heart at any time. And furthermore, I got to say that if he spoke to me, which he did, then he can speak to anybody. Итак. Silence. Well, wonder what this crazy nigger fixing to do. He liable to put the mojo on me. Интересно, как это pronunciation. Be speaking in tongues here directly. I better get my ass out of here. He's liable to try and steal my pocketbook. Need to get my ass down to the train depot, for something happened to me. What we going to do with you, Professor? I need to go. I thought you was going to stay and visit with me some. Look, I know I owe you a good deal. In the eyes of the world at least. Can I just give you something and we'll call it square? I could give you some money, something like that. I could give you $1,000. Well, that's not very much, I guess. I could give you 3,000. 3,000, вообще дофига. You don't have no notion the trouble you in, do you? I don't know what you mean. I know you don't. I just like to settle this somehow, somewhere. It ain't me you got to settle with. Do you really believe I was sent to you by God? Oh, it's worse than that. How do you mean? Belief ain't like unbelief. If you believer, then you got to come finally to the well of belief itself, and then you don't have to look no further. There ain't no further, but the unbeliever has got a problem. He has set out to unravel the world, but everything he can point to that ain't true leaves to new things laying there. If God walked the earth when he got down making it, then when you get up in the morning you get to put your feet on the real floor and you don't have to worry about where it come from. But if he didn't, then you got to come up with a whole other description of what you even mean by real, and you got to judge everything by that same light, if light it is, including yourself. One question fits all. So what do you think, Professor? Is your real? I'm not buying it. That's all right. It's been on the market a long time, and it'll be there a while yet. Do you believe everything that's in there, in the Bible? The literal truth? Yes. Probably not. But then you already know I'm an outlaw. What is it you would disagree with? Maybe the notion of original sin, when Eve eat the apple and they turned everybody bad. I don't see people that way. I think for the most part people are good to start with. I think evil is something you bring on your own self, mostly from wanting what you ain't supposed to have. But I ain't going to sit here and tell you about me being a heretic when I'm trying to get you to quite being one. Are you a heretic? You're trying to put me in the trick bag, Professor. No, I'm not. Are you? No more than what a man should be. Even a man with a powerful belief. I ain't a doctor, but I am a questioner. What's the difference? Well, I think the questioner wants the truth. The doctor wants to be told there ain't no such thing. You don't think you have to believe everything is in there in order to be saved. No, I don't. I don't think you even have to read it. I ain't for sure you even got to know there is such a book. I think whatever truth is wrote in these pages is wrote in the human heart too. And it was wrote there a long time ago and will still be wrote there a long time hence. Even if this book is burnt, ever a copy of it. What Jesus said. I don't think he made up a world of it. I think he just told it. This book is a gift for the ignorant and the sick at heart. A whole man wouldn't need it at all. And of course, if you read this book, you're going to find that there is a lot more talk in here about the wrong way than there is about the right way. Now, why is that? I don't know. Why is that? I'd rather hear from you. I'll have to think about it. Okay. Земную жизнь пройдя до середины, я очутился в сумрачном лесу. Я бы мог читать, наверное, и дальше, но чувствую усталость. Возможно, я проведу как-нибудь вторую трансляцию и продолжу. Но на сегодня, пожалуй, хватит. Что ж, друзья, я с вами прощаюсь и завершаю трансляцию. Всем пока.